Our next guest, man, I've been a long time fan of this guy. We've had him on the show before on the phone.
Right.
But we've never met in person with him.
Crazy.
It is the one and only Frank Caliendo. You can check him out on frankcaliendo.com for his upcoming tour dates and podcast info. But he's live on the set with us. Man, welcome. It's great to see you.
Yeah, it is great to finally be. I can't even look at Rob.
You can't even look at me.
I look at Rob with the glasses on,
Right.
too. It's like, because you're ugly. It's like, wait a second. Why? Why would you say that? I got to keep it real. That's just awesome. I remember last time I was talking to you, too, because so many voices are similar. Voices blend into each other. You don't know. You don't realize that until you really try and break it down and listen. They're not all I shouldn't say they're like little tiers. So George W. Bush has this kind of voice right here. You can change it and make it a little more southern, become Terry Bradshaw, and you put power into it, it becomes Chris Rock. I can't believe it just said that. So you wouldn't think those three, they don't
Right.
in your mind, they're not even close. But in terms of their voice,
Wow, that's
there are
interesting.
little pieces that are close together.
Now, when you hear my voice, do I sound
cringe
like that?
a little bit.
Right? I know it's a
worry-
bad voice.
I just worry what you're going to – no.
But it's that, and what's unbelievable.
There's some New York.
New York. I'm from New York. Call me. We'll talk.
Call me. We'll talk.
About dogs, daughters, and coffee.
Yeah, and if you multiply you by like 1,000, it becomes Tracy Morgan.
Right.
That's what I said. That's what I said. That's crazy. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Why is everybody pretending they love him? They don't. That was you.
And he's from Brooklyn. I'm from Queens, and he's right.
Yeah.
Tracy is a little higher up.
No,
than
that
I am.
was right.
That's
Yeah,
what-
there's an element of energy. There is a change. It's not like the same voice, but there's something. Barack Obama, The Rock. People have made that comparison. I don't do it.
I can see
I
that
can
now.
do Barack Obama talk slow at the beginning and speed up at the end, and then you kind of change it. Do you know what The Rock is cooking? It's somewhere in there.
somewhere.
Right.
But it's I can't find that little twitch, that little change for me. So sometimes I can, and sometimes I can't. I talked to Clay Travis. I'm talking to him. I did the betting show, Lock It In. And he's got this voice that's in here, somewhere in here. And if you change it and make it really sharp, it's Jim Rome. How great is that? Incredible, but you bring it down, it's Clay Travis.
Very nice.
How great is this?
I remember Jim Ross. Is he still on the radio?
Look at
no,
you.
I'm just
Ridiculous.
He's actually a few blocks.
What is
few
up with
places
Rob
down.
Parker pretending to have amnesia? Dude is ridiculous. That's not good. Right now,
That
Parker,
is good.
Rob Parker, trying to figure out how he can rip this impression. Say it's not good. But he's not going to
No,
because he
that's
doesn't even
good.
remember he's there. I'm kidding.
That's one of your best ones.
And you
That
know
was-
what?
That's the first time I heard you do Jim Rome.
And Jim Rome and I had a fight on the radio way back
called
when
me
we started.
Chrissy.
No, he would.
You were one of his guests?
No, we had
I can't see you getting in a fight with anybody.
we had our show, and Jim Rome was doing it, and he was on our station in Detroit.
Okay.
And so they had him on as a guest on our show.
Okay.
And he had just started a new TV show, which I didn't like, and I basically told him I didn't like the
Rome
show.
is burning.
Yeah, and we started getting into
Can't
it.
believe it. I can't believe something like that.
So
would come
he
out of your
went
mouth.
off on you.
Oh, yeah.
When you said you don't like
yeah,
the show.
so it was all right.
You critiquing something? Just
Can you
doesn't
imagine
seem, No, I
that?
can't. No.
Me and the Fabulous Sports Babe had a fight, too, on the radio. You remember her?
Yes.
And
I do remember her.
I don't even want to say what I said to her back in those days.
Yeah,
They
it
were
wouldn't-
acceptable.
right.
It wouldn't fly today.
You'd be
but-
fired today.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say that.
Thank you. But this is now Tony Romo has become this big superstar.
Yeah.
ESPN reportedly offered him what, $10 to $14 million
Which I just
a year to
And
do.
you're not a fan, right? I
No,
love him. I really
I don't
enjoy
think
him.
that he's bad. The only thing that I wish that he could work on, the one thing I like the
He is good.
thinking. No, he is. But Jim Nantz is a big time professional play-by-play guy. You can't step on that guy.
Nance is present day Pat Summerall,
So-
right? Because
Right.
Pat Summerall to the 20, to the 25. He was in there, and then Nance is hello, friend. Somewhere I don't really have that Nance, but that's where they lied. Like Summerall didn't even say full sentences. I used to talk about that a bit. He'd just say to the 20, to the 25. There's a flag on the play, right?
Oh, yeah.
He didn't even give you that full thing. So, and then Madden would chime in with the whatever. But now Romo does that thing where he's like, "Oh, Jim, this is going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing and wonderful. I can't believe. Take a look. If he ordered a pizza, like, let's go this way, because I was trying to think of different bits for Tony Romo, different ways to go. But Tony Romo, you could never watch a movie with him, right? Because he's gonna predict that it's like, oh, Jim, the way they're focusing in on that girl at the beginning, I know what's going to happen. They're going to be switched at the end. Jim, there's an upside-down world, a positive world, and Jim, that girl, oh, they're switching. Everybody's going to be dead, Jim. They're going to be holding hands across the world. It's going to be incredible and amazing and wonderful, incredibly amazingly wonderful. And Tony Romo always has this look on his face like he has some material to blackmail you with, and he's got that smile on his face like, oh, this is going to be good, guys. It's going to be really, really good. Grab a Corona. Everything's going to be fine.
Now, I told you last time you were on, I said when we worked at the old network, ESPN, I always said every time you went on, Mike and you would do like 70% of the people on ESPN.
Yeah.
I would be waiting.
But he wasn't big enough. He wasn't big enough.
No, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. You just can't find them sometimes. I look for them, but
I'm not in those categories of you. You mentioned there are a lot of people linked up together, and I'm not in one of those groups.
Yes, you're in the Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans. You almost sound like a Damon Wayans character. Sorry, but Damon Wayans. The Ubiquities. Remember that? Those guys, Oswald Bates. The Ubiquities and Contemplation. That was. So you're in there somewhere, and because we'd never met before, when you in person, when you talk to the person in person, you get a lot more from it. So, like when I did the betting show, I can never remember. Lock it in. When I'm talking to Clay, all of a sudden that starts to fester a little bit more inside me. I start to get it.
Him after
today.
Really?
Today. I'd never even tried it before, really.
Wow.
And so I just started doing that, and it started to sound pretty good. You know, it's not 100%, but it's
there.
It's better than everybody else, just like me.
We are joined by Frank Caliendo, comedian and podcast host. And the podcast is called what, Frank?
The Caliendo Cast or Frank Caliendo Cast. You can get there, frankcaliendocast.com, or just look at the social media stuff. I'm doing I'm doing Clay Travis, not even trying to do it. It's at Frank Caliendo. If you can't spell Caliendo, it's the letter C, the word alien, and the word do. At Frank C. Alien Do. And John Holmberg is on that podcast with me as well. He does a bunch of impressions and characters.
Oh, he does too?
Scott Long.
So are you guys doing the podcast in other people's voices?
Yeah, lots of different voices. We kind of whatever flows naturally. So one time we just started doing Bernie Sanders watching E.T. for some reason. I don't even know how it got there.
But it was funny.
Yeah, and we're touching hands and stuff like that, touching fingers. I'm not even really sure why we're doing it. You know, that kind of a thing. I try to stay away from the political stuff.
I was going to ask you, do you do President Trump?
Well, it's tremendous. It really is. We touch fingers as well, but we touch all 5 of them because our hands are that big. It's incredible.
Are they big or small?
They're incredibly large. They're bigger than your ego, Rob.
Now, that's not possible.
I always go for the easiest joke. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
Yeah, I keep thinking of Chris's podcast. There's in there. I ruined it on cast.
He was raised all over the country. So whatever team we're talking about, I lived there. I lived there for a couple of weeks.
I do have a connection.
Every city.
That's the cadence right there. I do have a connection. That's the cadence that I have to focus on.
I like that. But I was born in Louisiana,
Here we go.
so I could claim LSU.
Do we have enough time in this segment? Go ahead.
I lived in Ohio.
For all the places he lived. Where in Ohio?
State,
Where Ohio?
Cleveland and Cincinnati.
Okay.
And then
my wife's from Loraine.
So. I went to Oberlin College.
See,
oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, so in Loraine County.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I lived in Iowa for 2 years.
He was the only black family in Iowa.
It's funny because I've introduced you to maybe 5 or 6 people from Iowa, and almost all of them are black.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
I'm still shocked.
He's shocked. He thinks like, wow, Iowa's got a ton of blacks.
It's unbelievable that you have 5 people from Iowa who are black.
Oh, the best part is I'm staying out of this part of the conversation.
You know?
But, okay, tell us about the Super Bowl. Do you have a rooting interest? Is there a team you're
I can't tell you why. I would like to see Andy Reid win. I don't have any. Maybe.
Well,
do you ever say anything bad about Andy?
Absolutely.
Oh, he rips Andy.
Yeah. Okay, you're the guy.
He thought he should have been fired if they would have lost the playoffs.
Absolutely. Andy Reid can't win a big game. We're still waiting. Andy Reid has
He's
had
been
some
in two
really
Super
good
Bowls,
teams.
Rob.
No, I got
So
that.
that's 2 big games
All
to
right.
get to the Super Bowl.
Right, but I'm saying you got to be able to, at some point.
Yeah, there is. I
after
think
20
that's
years,
a legitimate critique at this point.
Right.
I think there's something to be said. But people love him. Why do people inside the NFL love him so much?
Great offensive mind.
Some people call him an offensive genius.
Right.
And
Not
quarterbacks.
me, but some people.
Not
Right,
you know
right.
me. I'm not on that bandwagon. But at some point, to validate yourself, I always bring up Marv Levy, who was the coach of the
Right.
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Right?
Hall of Fame coach, by
Right,
the way.
okay, but he went to 4 straight Super Bowls, but right? Which is in itself an
great
accomplishment.
achievement.
Yeah.
But nobody ever brings him up as one of the greatest coaches of all time. You know why?
'Cause he
Because
didn't
he
win.
hasn't won.
And that's fair,
winning,
though.
And winning
That's
matters,
fair.
though. But I'm just saying.
There's a difference
But
between
he's a
being
Hall
a
of
great
Famer.
coach, a great coach, and
You know
being
what I
one
mean?
of the best, right?
Right,
You have to put
right.
everybody lists Belichick first now because he's won so much. It
Well,
makes sense.
He's also cheated, so that's another thing that we
Well,
have to
Listen, I think
consider.
everybody's cheating somewhere. Just he's better at it.
Really? Like the Astros, that's okay?
Well, yeah.
That might be a little bit. Come on, extreme.
A little bit, a
Little bit?
a little bit extreme.
Okay.
Yeah, listen. The more I find out about the world, the more I realize everybody's cheating at something somewhere.
Everybody's doing it.
You ever speed?
Who, me? All the time. But
They're
if I
just,
don't, if I
they're
don't
just
get
speeding
pulled
with
over,
trash
right?
cans. No, but that's. I mean, listen. I'm not condoning it. Absolutely not.
So,
at the same
but
time-
you like Andy
You do
Reid?
have to call it out when you discover it. You gotta discipline it, because in high
Yes.
school, a lot of people
Yeah.
cheat in high school.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I caught you cheating. You know what? Everybody does it. Go ahead. You know what I mean? So you still gotta.
Yeah, I think.
Discipline.
I like Patrick Mahomes. I just think he's fun. I think
He's awesome.
he's going to make some mistakes. He is authentic. That's what we look for in this world now.
Right.
Everybody wants to see authenticity. You see this guy. He was the 10th pick. Everybody's like, why are you picking him 10th? What's the reasoning behind this? Is crazy. And Andy Reid, who is the offensive genius in 99.999% of the minds,
Right.
not named
Is
Rob
that
Parker.
me? Right, up
He's
41.
the football's equivalent to Mike D'Antoni at this point. At this
Yes,
point.
okay, I get it.
Now,
Yeah.
if he wins Sunday, he'll leave that.
All of a sudden,
level.
he's in something.
I
yeah.
think he's a Hall of Famer already,
yeah.
even without the Super Bowl. But
I mean,
There's something about Patrick Mahomes that I don't know. I just root for him. I like the demeanor. He doesn't get too upset. Russell Wilson has this better than almost anybody. Russell Wilson can throw a terrible pick, and he'll be out there like, let's go.
Right,
That's
right.
hard to do.
That's true.
That's right, because even Brady, you see it on – well, you see when somebody makes a mistake in sports and they get that look on their face, like,
Right.
you're done at that point. You make this face, that scrunched up, there's nothing – it's hard to come back from
Right.
that because your whole aura, your whole demeanor changes. Russell Wilson's like, here we go.
What?
And that's Patrick Mahomes has some of that.
you
No
brought up
question.
Tom Brady.
No question.
Is Tom Brady? Is that a voice that's doable? Tom always plays the aw shucks, gee whiz,
Which is
like
brilliant
he
to
doesn't know,
do, right?
Like
Yeah,
he doesn't
I
know
mean,
what's going on.
Why not? Because what should you be? What do you want to? Do you want to walk around saying I'm the best? When people
No,
do that,
you don't have to say
some
it.
people get upset
But you
about it
don't
and say
have-
you're not the best.
Well, I always say that he's not the GOAT. He's the LOAT, the luckiest of all time. When you chronicle Tom Brady's career and what's happened, you know, a lot of the stuff that's been happened for him, and that doesn't mean
Rob,
that he's not a
stop
great
it.
player.
Stop
Sure,
it.
I mean, but luck plays into everything. I was
Thank
talking
you.
about that over here too on the side. It was luck plays into everything. You can't. I don't know. A piece of me wants to say, you know what, Rob, you're right, but those words are tough to come out of my mouth.
It sounds like Chris. He
But-
can't say it either.
But
Say
there's
what?
That I'm right.
But
You're not.
My dad always used to say, and he probably still says it. I just don't do any sports anymore, play any sports anymore. He's like, I'd rather be lucky than good.
No, I've
to
heard-
be
I've heard
that
that.
lucky, to be the low,
6
I would
times.
take it
Right.
because you're going to be rated. You're going to be. Some people will say no, but you're going to be listed as the number one quarterback pretty much forever, even if it is on luck. I think he's. Is he the most fun to watch? No. I would way rather watch Patrick Mahomes.
No doubt.
Lamar Jackson.
Right.
I know we got to go to
Totally,
break soon.
100%.
We got a couple minutes left. We're joined by Frank Caliendo, comedian and podcast host.
Yes, and Lamar Jackson, my son, made this point to me, and I think it's a great point. He said people, the way they consume media now, especially my son doesn't watch a full football game, but he is also a thinker. And he said, you watch how everybody's going and saying Lamar Jackson, the greatest player in the universe. I think he's very good.
Right.
One of my things was he seems great, fantastic. But everybody keeps saying, wait till you see him get better. Well, if he's that amazing already, how are you going to say he's going to get better? Now, I do find him to be really great already. But at the same time, so what my son said was this. He goes, people consume media in little highlights. Who has the best
Nowadays,
highlights?
they do.
Absolutely.
Of anybody.
Yep,
Lamar Jackson might throw for 100 yards and
But
run.
he'll have the most exciting
He'll have
touchdown
five, not even touchdown runs, just runs like almost Barry Sanders-ish.
Right.
That you're going, how did he do that? And then you're going, he had an amazing game. No, he threw for 100 yards.
Right.
He had 300 yards last week and ran for 100. This week he had 100 and 100, and everybody's like, that's the most amazing game. No, it's not the most amazing game.
but
He had
that's
3
the
amazing
highlight.
plays.
But that's where we are in the society. Everybody wants to crown people immediately, like Chris
Or
Broussard
tear 'em down.
is a prisoner of the moment.
Oh,
like
stop it.
anybody
Stop it.
does anything, he's ready to crown
Like
you like
what?
the greatest of all time.
He was just praising Pat Mahomes. That's what I do.
No,
I think
Dak
Mahomes
Prescott
is
after 3
incredible.
games this year, he called him a lead. He didn't even make
No,
the Pro
I
Bowl
said
this
he's
year.
well,
en route-
but
en route to
he
being
did not
elite.
look for the first few games he came back. He looked like he wasn't all the way back.
Mahomes.
Yeah,
He was
Mahomes
injured.
looked like he was
Right.
he
He
was
was still
limping a
injured.
little bit. He didn't have the. He could still throw, right, for the most part, but they didn't have to worry about the run because they'd see him limping around. He just didn't seem to have that extra little burst.
So take us out here, Frank, because we got to close in a few. One of our favorite shows that we're on, Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. I know you do a good skip, Shannon.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Shannon.
do Skip. but-
Yeah, it's really just I say one word with Shannon Sharp and it can say everything. Just depends on how you say it. Skip.
That's right. I knew that was coming.
This is him angry. Skip. This is him happy. Skip. 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 And then Skip just come back. You don't get it. Skip. Come on, Skip. Come on, Skip.
Oh,
Skip.
man.
Skip.
It is the great Frank Caliendo, comedian and podcast host. Follow him on Twitter at Frank Caliendo. And he told you Caliendo is C-Alien.
C-Alien dude.
C-Alien D-O. C-A-L-I-E-N-D-O. C-Alien do. C-Alien do. That's it.
C-Alien dude.
Are you saying you're an alien?
Some people have
See an
questioned
alien
it.
do his thing. All right, but go to frankcaliendo.com for his upcoming tour dates and podcast info. Frank, thank you for joining us.
Thank
Great
you. I
stuff
appreciate it,
as
guys. Great to
always.
see you.
Absolutely.
And
Great to meet you in person
Yeah.
finally,
Yeah.
right?
Hey, CaliendoCast.com brings you directly to the podcast.
CaliendoCast.com.
Yeah.
All right, you can get the podcast there. All right, Odd Couple coming back with Fox Sports Radio. What's happening, y'all? It's Chris Broussard.
I'm Rob Parker.
And we are
The Odd Couple. Check us out as often as you can on YouTube.
And always remember, I'm Oscar, and he's Felix.
Oh, man. Are you serious?